Hello everyone, myself Priyanka and today we are back again to this channel, Befriending Polity. So as in this channel, we have been discussing about UPSC's topic from polity's perspective, right? So UPSC's polity's topic we have been covering this far. We have already completed the topic of Indian public administration. We also dealt with the approaches to the theory, approaches to the study of Indian political theory. Okay, then we also dealt with the theory of justice, right? So these were some of the topics that we have already discussed, and in today's lecture we will be discussing about the Indian political thinkers who are referred, okay, in the UPSC syllabus. So from today onwards we'll be starting about the Indian political thinkers who have been asked, who have been referred in UPSC syllabus, about their political ideologies, how they have contributed to Indian political framework, and how their thoughts is they are similar to Western political thinker. We'll also compare that. So these are some of the topics that we'll be discussing, and one by one we'll be discussing about all the Indian political thinkers who have been asked at UPSC syllabus. Okay. So the very first Indian political thinker that we have in our UPSC syllabus is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, so as we all know, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he is also known as the father of Indian Renaissance. Okay, that is the father of Indian Reformation. Okay, that he has actually contributed at most to the reformation and a revival of a new India. Basically in social sense. Okay, so let's learn about him. So as we can see here that Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was born on 1772 and died by 1833. Okay, so till then what was his lifestyle, how he contributed to Indian political framework and social framework, we'll be discussing about that in our today's lecture. So the very first thing from UPSC's perspective that we need to know is what were the books that Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote. So the very first book, as we all can see, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote was Tuhfat-ul-Muhawwidin. Okay, so this book, it is also known as a gift to monotheism. So what was monotheism? Monotheism means that believe in one God. Okay, so as Raja Ram Mohan Roy used to believe that there is only one supreme, universal supreme being. That is what he used to believe. Okay, that there is only one God for each and every human present on this planet. Okay, so this is what Raja Ram Mohan Roy believed, and with that belief in his mind, he wrote this book, Tuhfat-ul-Muhawwidin, in 1803. So, and the next book that he wrote is the Precepts of Jesus. Okay, now in the Precepts of Jesus, he has tried to promote peace and happiness. Okay, so again this book he has taken from his belief and till towards the Christian religion. Okay, in this religion, from this religion, whatever he got to learn, he actually wrote in this book. We can see this. Okay, and that was written in 1820. Now we see the next book that Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote was Modern Encroachments on Ancient Rights of Female. In this book, he has this book is also referred with History of Indian Philosophy. Okay, so in this book, what Raja Ram Mohan Roy had tried to talk that we are trying to acquire, we are trying to demand those rights for women that they have. Okay, that is naturally with them. We are just not letting them enjoy it. We are just not letting them, practice it in our social life, and that is quite torturous. So this is what he has tried to describe in this book, and then we have the universal religion that he wrote in 1829. Okay, so this book 1829, as we know, in this year only the Sati Pratha was banned, and that was also because of the contribution of Mr. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, so again we see these are some of the important books, and that is quite important from UPSC's perspective or any competitive exams perspective when we learn about Raja Ram Mohan Roy's contribution in Indian political thought. Next, we have some of the journals written by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. The journals, for example, Bengal Gazette, Merath Akbar, then Brahmanical Magazine, Sambad Kamudi. These are some of the journals, very important again. Then we have association established by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Brahmo Sabha, which was later known as Brahmo Samaj, Atmiya Sabha, then Calcutta Unitarian Association, Vedanta College, Hindu Anglo School. Okay, sorry, Anglo-Hindu school. So this was this school basically taught, Indian education from scientific temperament. Okay, that was a mixture of Anglo, that is Western and Eastern education. So this is what, these are some of the institutions that he established and quite important for us to know. Next we have his religious thoughts, very important. Why we need to know his religious thoughts? Because these religious thoughts were the basis of further his political thoughts and any other social reform that he actually practiced, that he actually insisted on and made an impact of. Okay, so let's discuss about his religious thoughts. So the very first religious thought of Raja Ram Mohan Roy is he believed in monotheism. Monotheism means there is only one God. Basically, he was less of religious and more of spiritual. Okay, he believed in enlightened spirit. Enlightened spirit means that there is a soul exists in every human being, and that soul connects us, or that soul makes us similar to any other human. So why are we dividing ourselves into religions? Okay, so in every religion there are humans, and every human contains soul within them, and in that soul, that soul retains the divine energy. That is what basically Raja Ram Mohan Roy believed, and hence we see all other the religious thoughts of him, that is existence of soul, enlightened spirit. Then he also believed that there is life after death, hence we should always do good. Okay, karma that we call, right? Then we see establishing transnational humanist culture. He wanted to establish a transnational culture. Transnational means borderless society. There should be no border. Okay, because when we divide our society into borders, we are basically dividing humans. We are basically trying to initiate war. We are trying to create power race. This is what he did not believe in, and he did not want. So establishing transnational humanist culture, that is what he believed. Exchange of culture between different borders. There should be no borders at all. That's what he believed. Then we see synthesis of private and political. This is very important religious thought of his. Okay, that is also an important political thought of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. As we have already discussed, what is public-private dichotomy? Okay, that whatever we are practicing in our private life, everything is related to the political life. This is what we mean when we say that there is no public-private dichotomy. Okay, when we try to criticize the theory of public-private dichotomy. So this is only what Raja Ram Mohan Roy promoted. Let's take an example for this. Not in today's time, but before Domestic Violence Act came into existence, we used to believe that hitting your wife at your home, in your room, is your private affair and no one has to do anything with it. Okay, but let us see technically. Okay, if you are hitting your wife, if you are hitting any female, any human, okay, if you are humiliating any human in your private space also, okay, that in turn will create a weak human in the society. So every human, or let's talk only about women, because women unfortunately is the weaker section of our society, of entire world society. So if you are hitting any women, any female in your private space, you are basically creating in turn a weaker human to the society. Okay, now she will not be confident, now she will not be able to put her 100% efforts even for herself and neither for the entire society. So how do we say that the private affair is not related to the political political affair, because everything that is political, everything that is private is definitely political. Whatever we do, whatever we think is definitely political. This is what Raja Ram Mohan Roy believed. Okay, now we see that he was a cosmopolitan, he believed in cosmopolitanism. Cosmopolitanism again means the same, that is transnational humanist culture. Cosmopolitanism means that you do not believe that borders should exist. You believe that, basically what he believed, that entire world is one family, one great family, okay, that lives separately. This is what he believed. He also proposed World Congress for it. World Congress, an institution that he proposed that should exist, okay, where there would be member of each country, okay, equal representation of each country's members, okay, and there would be chairman to it, and the chairman would be dynamic, it will keep on changing, okay, and that's how it will. Okay. Now we have some of his educational thoughts that is supportive of modern and scientific education. He believed in scientific education. He promoted philosophy, he promoted mathematics, he promoted physics. Okay, basically he promoted the scientific temperament to these studies in education institution. That's what he promoted, and for that he established a number of education institutions as well. We already learned before, right? That is Hindu College, Anglo-Hindu School, Vedanta College. These all institutions that he did set up promoted scientific educations, okay, and education with a scientific temperament. Okay, so he believed, and he also believed that Western education is very good for our society. Why Western education is good for our society? Because Western education will teach us the idea of liberty, the idea of justice, the idea of equality, and this will eradicate all the social reform, all the social evils. Okay, and according to him, there is no use of political reform if we do not have social reforms. What he said, let's believe. Take an example. Basically, the best example of what he said is what B.R. Ambedkar gave in his statement. Let's discuss that. B.R. Ambedkar said that once you are voting, okay, once you're going to vote for any political party, you have got equal rights to vote. Very good. That's amazing. But when we go back to our home after voting, we are again differentiated into different castes, different religion, different gender, and each of them are either superior or inferior to each other. Now, that is why social reform is always prior to political reform. Okay, this is what Raja Ram Mohan Roy also believed, and he believed that Western education will provide us those emancipatory ideas. Okay, he was a critic of Orientalists. Orientalists are those people who believe that their local and regional education is the best. Now his political thought was, he was a liberal utilitarian. Okay, utilitarian is someone who believed that maximum happiness of the maximum number. That is, he used to believe that maximum people in society should remain happy. Quantitative aspect of happiness and reform he actually promoted. He was a liberal thinker. Liberal means someone who believed in individual's freedom. Okay. And why we say him liberal utilitarian is because he also believed that there should be individual freedom, but that individual freedom should be restricted by more active role of state. Now, when state will be more active, okay, in every decision making, the state will ensure the happiness of maximum people, not each people, but of maximum people. Okay, so these are two of the political thought of his. And the last political thought of Raja Ram Mohan Roy is that he broke the public-private dichotomy. Okay, now by now we already know what public-private dichotomy means, and he actually broke that. Okay, so that's all about Raja Ram Mohan Roy's political thought. Thank you. I hope this is